One thing you can do if you don't have a drill is just spin your hand really, really fast in the bucket.
But don't go too fast or you'll start a fire.
Yeah. Also how you start fires.
Hey, welcome back to the shop. My name's Dave, and we're going to go ahead and do a follow-up on that broken table. So this was the same table in that last video that we put out where Jake was showing everybody how to do our epoxy molds, you know, the wooden plywood on the sides. And while we were doing that, we decided to show off that last project that we had. It was about 15 gallons and actually broke in several places on us because it overheated. So we're just going to go ahead and go over what we need to do properly to make sure that doesn't happen. Now, most of your at-home DIY projects, you're only using, you know, maybe 4 to 6 gallons, you know, 2-inch pour, 6 inches wide, maybe 48 long, 60 long, whatever. You know, you normally don't got to worry about that much heat. You know, the 2-inch pour that the manufacturer says holds pretty true. But when you get into projects like this is like 48 by 110, I think, and we got about 15 gallons of resin going inside here. You got a lot of that exothermic reaction, and there's going to be a lot of heat coming off of this. Now, while we did cool down the room last time, we did not put any fans up, so the air was pretty stagnant in here, which allowed that heat to just kind of sit on top and keep baking itself. And that's our mistake. We know better, don't know what we were thinking that day. So we went ahead and cut out all that resin that was broken up. We just reshaped the sides pretty well and threw it back in the box. You know, just like that video with our epoxy molds, this is the same mold. We just unscrewed it, took the wood out, cut the resin out, shaped up the sides, and then we screwed it back together, new silicone bead around all the edges. Now what we're gonna do different this time is we got this 20 by 20 box fan in here. We got the air filter on the back side of it, just so it helps catch any things that are floating through the air. You know, being a deep pour, I'm not too worried about stuff landing on the top because it's just gonna float there. We're gonna surface this down probably an 1/8 inch to a 1/4 inch, so it's not gonna be there when we're done. On the other side over there, we have a floor fan angled up at the bottom of the mold. A lot of people might be wondering, hey, why are you doing that? Because, you know, you get access to it all here. Well, if you've ever done a really big pour and you put your hand on the bottom of that plywood, it actually gets pretty hot there. So we're kind of attacking the heat at the source, which is, you know, the deep part in the center, and we're wicking away the surface heat at the same time. We got our thermostat set to 70 degrees. We have our epoxy already in here. So the epoxy itself is cooling off, so it starts off slower versus warm epoxy. And so we got the air running non-stop, so we're just circulating everything. And that should really keep all the heat off this, and it should work out just fine. If anything, we're gonna come in tomorrow and we're gonna be able to stick our finger in it still because we cooled it off too much. But that's okay, I'm fine with that, because then we can start walking that heat up and allowing it to cure at its normal rate after we get past that hump of energy release at the start. Something to definitely keep in mind when you're doing these really big pours is to really not clamp them that hard. It needs to be able to move because there's a lot of heat that's going to happen here. There's a lot of shrinkage that's going to happen. So we could lose 3/8 of an inch. And that's why when we plan out our boxes, like we were going over that with Jake, we made the boxes a little bit bigger to account for that shrinkage, because then you just cut out exactly what you need when you're done. This is going to go ahead and probably move in good little ways, but that's fine. We went ahead and accounted for that. So that, combined with the cold air, combined with the fans, should make this work. This is a pretty big one, but should be fine. All right, so we're back on day 2, and as you can see, it worked. Same exact mold, same pour. same volume of resin, and it came out just fine. So it comes with experience, you know, when you learn how much volume do I have to really start worrying about stuff. You know, right now it's like 100 degrees outside in Florida, so it's not really conducive to doing big pours like this out in the shop. So we'll bring it in here, cool off the room, get some fans on it, and it keeps it in a nice working temperature. And what's interesting is, you know, that's rock solid 24 hours later, but the thin stuff over here is actually still sticky. And I'm sure the epoxy that fell along the edge and that's underneath is a little liquidy as well. It's not like the epoxy cures as one mass. It's kind of has a given basis per the volume in that area. So the smaller areas where it tucks in tight, going to take a little bit longer than these wide areas over here. And you kind of see by the pattern, you know, the tighter the pattern that's on here is the more heat that was in that area. And generally speaking, that's going to be the more volume areas.